Hey everyone. So here's an update on Gambler. All right, so I've been cutting in a lot of areas that are not um, basically noticeable for the most part. I've been doing a lot of cutting in here and trying to get this clean so that when you look in here, you just kind of see the side of the arm and the forearm, side of the body, but not much of the background. I've also cut back here and cleaned off a lot of that edge. I've done a lot of work on the um, cubes themselves so that you can see these just sitting there. Tried to strengthen up the placement of where they're sitting, but not totally take away from the stability of their anchored position. I've also tried to work on the barrel a bit. Pardon me. So the barrel itself has this turning radius or this turning corner here, and it comes up behind the coins and also behind the hand. But you don't see any of it over here, not even just a little bit. So that means that I had to determine the the circular cuts here so that this none of this is present, but it is present over here. So I think I still need to drop this a bit here and here in order to make it believable that you don't see any of it over here. This will have to be cut a bit here and here to try to get that turn a little more sharp so that also it's believable that you don't see any of it here. Also worked in here, cleaned up a lot of the background in here. I also cut down the total top surface here so it dropped a bit more, but I do still have a bit of a short height here that I need to deal with, so it might need to drop a bit more. I can also achieve some height if I just cut this area off. It will appear as if there's more to the side of the barrel as opposed to needing to cut more depth to get the height of this side higher. Over here, the same. Pardon me. I can cut in here as well to make it appear as if it's taller here. But I also may need to go ahead and cut some of the height. Pardon me. Some of the height on the top of this barrel as well, just to get a bit more. Um, did a little bit of work in here as well, just like over here. Tried to get this cleaned up here. This is the cloak. This is also the cloak. This portion of the cloak here and here. Um, this portion of the cloak here is also a part of this area. So I have to get that clean and get a little bit of wavy in there and get that work in there. Cleaned up part of the hand here, got it a little bit more uh, flat and less coarse. Cleaned up the sleeve a bit, got this position here correct. This position here is part of the forearm. This is the outside of the garment that sits on the forearm. So got that. The angle is out to here. Got it cut back. It looks more correct now. Cleaned up a lot of the hand as well. Got some of the curves and crevices upon the glove. I positioned the top of the fingers a little better, I think. I pushed back the thumb a bit and also the inside of the thumb palm area. Cleaned up a little bit here and there. Put in another little wrinkle here for the glove. Would be something like this section here, right here. And then I put in another little lip here, cleaned up this strap, and also took out some of the wood in here. So right now, this section here is missing, and you can probably see that it's now fully formed. So that's done. I also put in a bunch of work on the dwarf. I cleaned up some of the area. Hard to tell, I guess. Let me try to show you. This section here now shows an area you wouldn't normally look into, but it is present. This part of the braid going off to his left. I can't get all that junk out of there. Anyway, so that's there, and it's gone all the way underneath the cigar. So now the cigar is an entity of its own. Cleaned up a bit of the mouth, turned it, and the lip the teeth. The teeth will be formed. This is the tongue. This is part of his upper lip. I'll get that clearer and more clean. When I know that that's exactly what I want, I'll cut into the mouth, giving it shadow on that upper lip there. I also cut into the cloak here, made that approximately what I really wanted to look like, got it waved down into here, part of the cloak that goes onto that side. So the eye is correct now. The underside of the eye, the portion there has been cut to match correctly. I got the upper nose. You're not going to see much of this nostril, but I did get this nostril in. I cut back in here a bit so that we'll get shadow for the right-hand side of the face. I polished up some of the wrinkles on his cloak here. I also put in, pardon me, I put in some straps. Well, these straps are already present, but I got them to the proper thickness. I also rounded this medallion here that holds all this together. Maybe it's more of a clasp. And I got these all incorrect, not incorrect. I got them all in and correct. So those are pretty clean now. Got the beard, and you can see that. So I got that there. I also put some work into her, and I cut back quite a bit of her form here, sanded it down, and then put in the crevice lines of the armor. I also cleaned up some of the armor plating here. I got the greave in. I'll have to put buttons there or snaps, something to make it look more normal. Worked on her face quite a bit. I did a lot of detail on the face because I needed it to look like it was looking in this direction. So we got the lower, the left side of her eye slightly lower than the right, because if we look in that direction and she's looking kind of down towards him since he's sitting and she's standing, so we got that angle correct. Her eyebrows are obviously far too large, but those will be diminished later on. We got her nose in and the nostrils in the right place. We got the upper lip formed so that it looks like it leads right into the mouth. We got the chin in. This bone section here of her eye is not correct. I mean, you can tell what we're looking at, but it's not exactly where it should be. I'll have to move it slightly over to the left, and that will mean diminishing the size here and leaving it high here. So I'll get to that. Her hair will be cleaned up and rounded, and other little smaller hairs put into place toward the end. I got the clasp on the cloak here cleaned up a bit too. I wanted to make sure that it was noticeably, fastened here and securely fastened here as well. I'll clean that up and get a button in there so it looks more normal. I did put some effort into this by cinching it here. I was going to put in a clasp, but I think this is fine. We can put in a sort of button here or a clasp of some nature here to make it look like it's normal, with little holes here in the leather to exemplify how that is fastened. Okay, so for the most part, I've just been doing a lot of little things that are harder to see than the more noticeable things here. I think I will start to work on his face and get it more normal looking. Now that I've got the holes through here and holes, I do have to get under here and cut that. Once I cut this free from this portion here, there'll be even more shadow to work with, and then I can cut under here and here. I'll have to cut back here. I did do some cutting back here, so that's good. I will not be able to get all the way through from here. There's not enough room, but I will be able to get in between the thumb and this position here, providing more shadow. And then I can clean the face. All right, so moving forward, it's just a labor of love and just keep at it. I might this week or next week get to the background, creating bricks or stone of some nature, maybe rounded or brick squares. I'm not sure, or rectangles, I should say. Get the sign in, more brick, and so on. So moving forward, Gambler, thanks.